And welcome to Monday's edition of the DCEU Daily. So yesterday, an article from a very small site said that the Ayer cut would be released on Christmas Day over on HBO Max. The day before, Davey Pienaar and John Erengaza confirmed that this will be happening. Now, let's not forget who Davey Pienaar and John Erengaza are. They're very small DCEU fans who have got a big following over on YouTube and on Twitter. Now, I know they have some information. Most of their information normally comes from Grace Randolph, but she doesn't seem to be talking about this. Anyway, a fan asked David Ayer if this was true. He said, no, it's not true. So, of course, I'm heartbroken about this. You're heartbroken about this. So how do I see this? Do I believe David Ayer? I believe it. Part of me believes or wants to believe that he's just saying that because it's not time to announce it yet. But the reality is, I think there's going to be some additional photography with David Ayer's cut of Suicide Squad. And I think they are going to put Steppenwolf back in there and other things they were going to connect to Zack Snyder's Justice League. So I don't see the Ayer cut, David Ayer's cut of Suicide Squad being released on HBO Max till early in the new year. I still expect it to stream before Zack Snyder's Justice League. I think it's what we all want. I think it's right and proper. I do not want it to be a prequel to Zack Snyder's Justice League after Zack Snyder's Justice League streams on HBO Max. So although it's heartbreaking, and I almost cried when David Ayer confirmed this was not true, I still have high hope. You still need to be, a hashtagging release the Ayer cut. There's nothing wrong with that. We are still fighting for this like we fought for the Snyder cut. Nothing else matters. Ray Fisher's claims against Warner Brothers do not matter. All that matters is getting this film released. If you love David Ayer, if you love Zack Snyder, if you love the Snyderverse, this is all you need to do. The Ray Fisher stuff is irrelevant. And so I do still expect to see David Ayer's cut of Suicide Squad, maybe still at Christmas, but more realistically, because I do feel they're going to do some additional photography sometime next year. So here on Big Mouth and the DCEU Daily, we will be keeping all eyes peeled to see how this develops, because anything can break at any time. Remember, you can tag me over on Twitter at Movies TV Mad, and you can suggest articles to read, content to talk about, any subject you want me to talk about that I deem is okay to talk about. I will talk about it here on Big Mouth on any video, and especially any DC topics. Scott Edwards is back with another question. Thanks so much for answering my questions. My next topic request is, do you like the new friendship between Barry Allen and Sarah Lance established in Crisis on Infinite Earths? I really liked it. They have a good chemistry, and I definitely want to see more of it. I like it because it's always great to have two characters that in the real world would never meet. Sarah was part of the League of Shadows. She's got a really different history in originally Starling City, then Star City. So her and Barry would never cross paths. And of course, it's always great to have that contrast, isn't it? From these type of characters that wouldn't meet. Barry's a very pure, innocent young man. And Sarah has got this dark past. She's really lived the life. And it's great to have that kind of big sister, little brother relationship. So I do really like that dynamic, and I'd like to see more of it. Scott Edwards also tagged me in an article from Giant Freaking Robot, which says Supergirl is cancelled, but Melissa Benoist will keep playing Supergirl in this. Well, let's have a look. Drew dceu, I think that's how you say his name, it probably isn't. Supergirl is ending, but that does not mean that Kara Zor-El is going to be gone forever. According to Geekosity, the superpowered Kryptonian has more adventures ahead of her. The scoop says that Supergirl will not end with the titular character's death, unlike another DC CW show, Arrow. By the way, I don't like the idea of superheroes dying. I don't think it's good. I want to think of them out there still doing their thing. So even though it was an interesting way to end Arrow, it wasn't something that I liked. I wish Oliver Queen was still out there. Anyway, but we'll instead end things with Kara Zor-El being reunited with her love interest, Mon-El Chris Wood, and they will travel into the far future to be together forever. That way, the possibility of future appearances from Supergirl are not off the table. Now, let me just say this, because I think it's important. Very important, by the way. And now I can't actually read this bloody thing. Right, let me start again. Right, sorry about that. I had a technical problem there. But I don't think anyone can know how Supergirl's going to end. Now, it will be very CW of them to end Mon-El's and Supergirl's story as them living happily ever after. For me, it's boring, but a lot of people would like that. I suppose there could be some interesting stuff with Supergirl and Mon-El in the future having adventures. This is not the way I assume they're going to do it. This is not the way I assume they can bring her back for movies. I think she still has to be out there. I think she still has to be part of National City saving lives. That's my opinion. It sounds like the plan is to have Melissa Benoist make it out of the series in one piece, and that will allow her to show up in guest spots on other dceu shows like Legends of Tomorrow, The Flash, and upcoming Superman and Lois. It makes sense to keep Supergirl in play instead of writing her off entirely. The character has proven to be very popular with fans, and an appearance by Benoist in an episode could always act as a way to boost ratings a bit. Supergirl is being cancelled due to lacklustre ratings over the last few seasons, at least they're honest about that. But it is impressive that the show has been able to make it to 6 seasons. It's not that impressive. The CW only need like 5 people to watch it to have a successful show, so it's not that impressive. The series has maintained a good critical standing, yes, because they're corrupt. That's why the critics always give the episodes good reviews, because it's got a female lead. Doesn't mean they're right. But it seems like mainstream audiences have fallen off with the show. Exactly. It could have something to do with the dceu shows getting more focused on major crossovers. Nothing to do with it. And Supergirl has been a big factor with these enormous events. It is possible that some viewers felt bogged down by the show's seeming largeness. No, nothing to do with it again. Even if that isn't the case, it is starting to seem like the dceu shows are beginning to reach the end of their tenure. That's a fact, yes. Arrow was the first show that kicked off the entire connected universe between these television shows. It has even been dubbed the Arrowverse, and it's even been dubbed the Arrowverse, and its ending would seem to indicate that the entire universe might need to think about winding down. Supergirl is the next one to fall, and it's unfortunate that it will be doing so because of falling ratings instead of playing out for as long as it wanted, aka like Smallville. Still, 6 seasons is nothing to sneeze at, and it is uplifting to know that Benoist will potentially be returning in some form or another. Her performance as Supergirl will go down as a definitive version of the character for a particular generation. Yeah, for me, in my generation, it's Helen Slater. Whatever you think of her film, she was a brilliant Supergirl. She brought fun, joy and strength to the role and was an inspiring, heroic figure for a number of young viewers. Knowing that she's likely to show up once again in other projects is something to look forward to. Supergirl is dead, but long live Supergirl. We don't know exactly what the regular appearances might be like once the show goes off the air. It would be great to see her be more regularly recurring character in something like Superman and Lois, which is the obvious place to put her, right? No matter what, we will look forward to seeing Benoist in the classic cape for her final appearances as the iconic character. And there's the article. I think this article is reaching. I think this article doesn't know what it's talking about. I think this article, like many people, want Supergirl and Mon-El, aka Chris Woods, to end up together. I don't know what happened to him. He went to the future or something or whatever, right? He could actually come back and decide to stay in National City. They could go travelling in a rocket ship. Who knows? Personally, for me, as I've just said, I want her to remain in National City, working. They're doing what she's already doing. And I don't like the ideas of Superman or Supergirl, like going off somewhere, going off to Argo City or shit like that. Stay where you are, stay where your character's always been, and do the job you've always done. That's what the fans want to see. And finally today, I think once we've seen David Ayer's version of Suicide Squad and Zack Snyder's Justice League over on HBO Max, I think our conversations in the Snyderverse, especially on Twitter Snyderverse, are going to change. We're not going to be talking about the issues that affect us now, because that's going to be in the past. Ray Fisher will not have the ammunition to talk about them because people will be too pumped. I think that people won't be talking about, obviously, if Ryan Reynolds is going to be Green Lantern in Zack Snyder's Justice League, because we would have seen the movie, although if he's not in it, people will probably still bore on about him being in Zack Snyder's Justice League 2, 3 or 400. Who knows? But I think the conversations will be about the films that we see. The Ayer cut, Zack Snyder's Justice League. And I think so much is going to happen in these films, it will change the conversation. I also feel a lot of the arguments and the divisions are out of boredom and other people stirring the pot, aka Ray Fisher. But I think once we've seen these movies, I think the excitement, the theories, talking to Zach over on Vero is going to be a more exciting thing to do. It's something I'm really looking forward to. The talk has to stop eventually. We do more talking than watching these days. And that's the sadness for me. Now, I love conversing with fans over these movies and all different types of entertainment. But also, we are geeks. We do want to be watching this stuff rather than doing hot takes on YouTube and Twitter all the time and, galvanizing people for negativity. The Snyder Cut is the biggest thing in Hollywood history. A director's never had this opportunity before. And if David Ayer has the opportunity to go back and do additional photography, like I suspect, for the Ayer cut, these are two historic situations because we've never seen it before. We've seen director's cuts come out. We've seen them be re-edited together and the director's ultimate vision of the footage he has put together. But we've never seen directors be able to go back and do additional photography. Now, we've got to remember that actually Zack Snyder's Justice League isn't a director's cut. It's a completely new movie. And I think a lot of the journalists and pundits and critics seem to get confused about that. It's not a director's cut. I noticed there's a verified account called the Snyder Cut, or the Snyder Cut Director's Cut, or something like that anyway. It's not a director's cut. This is a brand new movie, which we've never seen. It's not a director's cut of what Joss Whedon gave us. It's a director's vision of his original film that we never saw. It's like David Ayer's Suicide Squad, the Ayer cut. It's a totally brand new movie. It's a totally brand new movie because most of it will be scenes we've already seen. They're obviously going to cut out the rewritten stuff that Jeff Johns rewrote, as David Ayer kind of confessed himself. And we'll have the original stuff in there. So very different movie. I suppose you could argue the Ayer cut's more like a director's cut than Zack Snyder's Justice League. But however you see this, these are brand new movies. The ultimate visions of these directors, creative freedom, artistic integrity. These are conversations we talk about all the time. And on HBO Max, fingers crossed, we get that. Why do I say fingers crossed? Because I still wake up in a cold sweat in the middle of the night and worry that some fan or Ray Fisher's been talking so much so HBO Max and Warner Media changed their minds about releasing Zack Snyder's Justice League. Now, I know that's never going to happen, but I get nervous. I think we all need to watch what we say, be internally grateful for what we're getting, and leave the past in the past. The Snyderverse is back. And that, my friends, is the best news of all, and all we have to concern ourselves with. Comment down below, like, share and subscribe, and I'll be back tomorrow with even more DCEU Daily. See you again soon.